streaming. So we're going to start streaming. Jose, will you check and make sure it goes live? I'm going to log in over here. We are not going to try to do Twitch like we did last time. Just because that I didn't do any additional work.
We're streaming.
Okay. Trail. Okay. All right. Okay. Very cool. Stream is live. Okay, we'll give it a couple seconds to get a couple hecklers in the stream, and then we'll get rolling. Hi, April. I don't know who April is, but she knows you. April Dooley says hi, Chris.
That's my mother-in-law.
Hi, mother-in-law. How are you?
Wait until my mother-in-law comes on.
Hold on, mother-in-law. I'm just up front. I'm gonna say I'm sorry. Whatever's about to happen is we're gonna find very funny. I don't know that you will.
Oh, no, she's totally fine. She is, if anything, more raunchy than I am.
Oh, sweet. April, welcome aboard. This is going to be a good time then. We're in good shape. We were just telling Chris that we have junior high school locker room humor. That's about the level of complexity that we have on our show. April says she's cool. Sounds like it. The freckled forager's here to heckle. Good to hear. We don't usually get enough hecklers in our show, and that's where sarcasm rolls in.
We don't? You want more?
So that's my wife.
Oh, hello, wife. Is that the wife that does all the knitting and the crocheting and all the cool things?
She does the crocheting and the cool things, but don't call it knitting.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. We will try to refer to the I don't know what that. I just saw again on your LinkedIn. I saw one of those posts and I was all, that's cool.
Stalking people again.
I do a lot of stalking. I'm kind of a weird, creepy guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, don't we all actually though?
Yeah.
Tim's brought it up a number of times. Like, why don't you tell Cody to stop stalking my LinkedIn profile?
Isn't that what Instagram is though? You're just creeping in on other people's lives.
Yep. Being a creeper from far. Seeing what's going on. Okay, so Casey said he will try to log in, and we're not going to hold up for him. If he logs in, he logs in, and we'll go from there. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, just if we can go over, I don't think there's going to be an issue, but as far as any buttons or anything
sound quality.
With his mic or whatever.
Well, his mic's on the headset.
Yeah. So sometimes people wear the earbuds and it dangles and it hits stuff and it makes a noise. The sound quality. We do our best to edit out the sound quality, but the easier, the more or the less we allow errant sound to come in, then it's better. So just be cautious of that. I think you're fine. The headset sounds fine. You're not.
I would have gone with ambient sound, but errant.
Yeah, well, inadvertent sound.
Okay.
Is that better?
I like that one too. They're all good.
Yeah, inadvertent. Thesaurus.com, everybody. Okay, April. Oh man, April just threw down the gauntlet, guys. The raunchier, the better, she says.
Man.
And I just
hold on. I got to start drinking, I guess. Hold on.
You picked the wrong week to stop drinking.
I did. Damn it.
All right.
Where's my Lagunitas sponsor when I need it?
There's still plenty of White Claws back there from this weekend. All right.
People seeing me drinking that stuff. I don't care how thirsty.
Yeah, you do it. You just don't want people to see it. All right. Are you ready, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1. We'll go silent for just a second and then kick it off. 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, it is 6:30 on Tuesday night. We are live on YouTube as we are on Tuesday nights. Tonight we are joined by Chris Van Den Elzen, and I'm told that I'm the only person in the history of the world to pronounce that correctly the first time. How you doing tonight, Chris?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Chris joins us from Wisconsin. Is it like -12 there in Wisconsin right now?
I think right now it's 84, 82 maybe.
I didn't think it got up that high.
Remember we were watching that frisbee cross or whatever with your dad, and that was in Minnesota, I think.
Was it?
And it was like mid-80s. I'm all, oh, wow.
Holy shit, you guys. Hold on a second.
This is a new thing we discovered.
Randomly streaming. The family was over for barbecue yesterday, and we were going through things, and we found Ultimate Disc, Women's College Ultimate Disc. It's a cross of frisbee and soccer and lacrosse and rugby all at one time. It's my new favorite thing in the world.
They tackle each other?
No, they don't really touch each other.
You got to pay extra for that. You got to pay extra.
That's the after party. That's the after party.
But there are overseers, right? Or onlookers.
Observers.
They don't have referees. They just have dudes in orange shirts that say observer.
Yeah.
And my theory is you could pay extra. You could be one of those guys.
You could buy tickets.
They were like the hockey enforcers. Like
no. They're the dudes on the field. They paid extra.
I don't even want to know how much you got to pay for that, but
they wanted to be up and close and personal with the ladies on the field. It was the most bizarre thing, and my dad, Matt, and I sat there and watched it for an hour. Like we couldn't. Yeah. I couldn't leave the TV because I wanted to see who was going to win this tournament.
Somebody came up and was like, "Maybe you guys could change the channel. The kids want to watch." I don't care what the kids. I got to see who wins this match.
There's 3 other TVs. They could go watch there.
I didn't know when it was going to end. I didn't know what the score was really. Either way,
how would you even score that? Like
they have touchdowns. They have
end zones.
They have a line that demarks the end zone, and if you catch the frisbee,
we were coaching them like, you got to lead the receivers.
She's wide open. Can you imagine a bunch of grown men? She's wide open, please.
You got to hit number 17. Yes, she's been working all day.
She's been dropping that one. Don't throw it on the outside. All day long. That was what we did for Memorial Day weekend.
100% true. That's exactly. We spent over an hour and a half watching this.
It was quite. I think Matt's gonna sign me up for season tickets for next year, so that we can go.
We're gonna start a club.
But if
a women's club,
but if we started a frisbee team, it would literally be all of us standing in one spot. We're not running anywhere. We're too old for that.
No.
So Chris, I found Chris by accident on LinkedIn because I stalk people, and that's kind of what my deal is. And I saw a post about you and some of the opportunities you've had to go and do racing as a full-time gig, and I immediately got jealous and reached out and wanted to talk to you about it. So let's start with just who are you? Like, introduce me to you. You're in Wisconsin, which I guess you didn't have a choice. You were born up there, but
man, right out the gate.
Apparently trains don't go further than that. Whatever, cool. That's no, seriously. Tell me about you. Like, where did you? What's your background?
So born and raised in Wisconsin, obviously. I haven't really moved too far from where I was born. About 15 minutes from Green Bay.
Me too.
All right. So, I guess my background, I was raised in an off-road racing family. By the time I was 3, my dad had retired, and partially retired,
sucks.
I guess.
Come on, Dad, you couldn't have stretched it out a little bit further?
Well, I'm not done yet. There's more.
Okay.
So we kind of always stayed around. We still went to the races, stuff like that, and it was always short course off road. In my opinion, is literally the best off road sport there is, or best racing sport there is. So just being around that was really great. So I was always a gearhead no matter what. I think my parents tell me a story when I was like 2 years old. I wanted to take my training wheels off, and they didn't want me to, and I ended up taking my training wheels off. So I've always had a wrench in my hand, essentially. So from there on, big gearhead, car guy. I got into custom cars, all of that kind of stuff, tuner cars, street racing things, all that fun stuff you do as a younger kid, and made my way into doing more productive things with my life than that. And
that's a matter of opinion, but go ahead.
All right. So I built one of the cars I built It was a Honda CRX that had a V8 in it, so I converted it to real
What?
drive. Yep. So yeah, it was definitely a Frankenstein, but it was great because it looked like a bone stock CRX from the outside, and then I kept all the factory panels, and I was able to run a subframe through it and keep it all the same. But it had a Chevy 355 in it, so that was the first kind of massive build that I did. But then got into more of the racing side of it, got into autocross and things of that nature, lapping days, and then got hooked on Subarus and got into the rallycross and actual stage rally world. So I did stage rally as a co-driver for, I want to say 4 years on and off in the Rally America series. And then I kind of wanted to just do my own thing, and drifting was there. So I got into competitive drifting.
I already don't like this dude. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say I wanted to get hooked on Subarus too.
Yeah.
But then I just skipped it and went right to Renegades.
Yeah. I keep hearing about how awesome this guy is, and now I'm regretting the invite. But we'll go ahead. We're here. We'll finish the interview. So after drifting.
So after competitive drifting, I told my wife, I'm like, hey, I want to get out of drifting. I got burnt out from it. I'm getting into off-road racing. And she was like, what is off-road racing? Like, why the hell do you want to get into that? I told her my dad did that back in the day. I might have showed her some videos, but I've never really showed interest of like, hey, we should go do this. Right. So I went and bought I sold all the drift car stuff. Mm-hmm. I had bought a Toyota MR2 and traded that for a buggy. And this is like a 50 horsepower stock 1600 Volkswagen buggy.
A Toyota Land Cruiser. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
A little bit lighter than that, though.
Same horsepower.
Right, exactly. And I think she thought I was insane, but she was all behind me on it and ended up redoing the whole car, all new chassis and everything. And went headfirst into off-road, and she was gone for my first test day in the buggy, and I had told her that after like my first practice, I sent her a text. I'm like, oh my god, this is the best sport. Like, I found my actual sport that I want to be in a 50 horsepower buggy, because I launched it off a jump at like 50 miles an hour, so it was pretty great.
That is one, very depressing, and for me. For me, but also a very cool story. Like the like, you know, constantly having that drive to do the next thing and the next type of race and the next thing, and just like pushing yourself to do that is. But I'm surprised that it took a lifetime to get back to off-road racing after, you know, basically being in it as a family, you know, and with the family.
I think I was purposely pushed away from it because my dad didn't want to get back into it, maybe, or
it's like why I don't want my daughter to play softball, because I don't want to have to coach.
Valid. Yeah, so it was that, and he was like, well, why would you want to do that? It's a really dirty sport. Like, you have to clean the vehicle constantly. It's like drifting's way cleaner than that, or, you know, autocross is way cleaner than that. And then it didn't really matter anyways, got into it because you just can't take that out of somebody. So
that's not even a byproduct I think about. Like,
because you don't wash your truck regardless.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
If it's just always dirty, then whatever. Like, oh, it's more dirty. Like
why is Matt always in the back? Because his car weighs 112 pounds more than everybody else's with all of the mud from the season.
You're saying if I was racing?
Yes, if you're a racer.
If I thought that winning and washing the car would make it faster, then I'd think about it.
Okay.
All right. I don't race anybody to work, so my truck's pretty filthy. All right.
So so all in all, when was when did you first start racing, and now where are we at? Like, what's the time span? Yeah,
so I want to say right around 7 years ago, I got into the light buggy class, and then I think it was like a year and a half, 2 years. I got out of that and got into what is called a pro buggy or super buggy. And the reason of that I really got into it, I always wanted to get into it, but I looked up to people like Scott Schwabe, people of that nature that, you literally, and Aaron Hawley, people that you could go and play the game and race their buggies. And then now I get to go race with them on the track. Right. So not only that, but then my dad, because I got back into off-road, he was the one that was like, I got to get back into off-road. So he got into super buggy, and he let me drive it a few times, race it a few times. And ever since then, I'm like, there's no way I can get back into a 50 horsepower buggy after this. That has no power steering, and no way.
Is super buggy like the unlimited class of buggy?
Yeah. More or less. I mean, it's still a spec 2.4 Ecotech engine. I would say similar. I think it's class 10 in the desert that runs the 2.4s. But then, so that, and then just recently sold my super buggy that I'd built. So I fabricated and built all of my all the buggies that I race, my dad races. So did that.
I like how he's just like, oh yeah, by the way, I fabricate them. Like,
okay, so
it's a Tuesday. You know what? I think I'm gonna race a super buggy. I'll just build one, guys. What are you doing this weekend? I'm building a supercar. That's all I'm doing.
So I feel like it's such a nonchalant thing, because that's what I just like, building things. But every time I tell my wife, like, hey, I want to get into a new class, she's like, are you serious? Like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna build it. It's not gonna cost that much, and then that's a lie.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, your wife knows the minute you say that, she's like, God damn it, this again, this shit again. But kudos to her for not leaving every time. Like, that's
so she acts like. Well, she doesn't act like it. She's fully supportive of it. She loves it. She's actually my spotter. So she's the one that's talking to me all the time on the radio when I'm racing. So that's pretty cool. And she wants to get into a class 11 bug. So she also wants to get into a race car.
Nice. Has she heard of the Rebel Rally?
I don't know.
You should, what is it? Freckled Forager. Check out the Rebel Rally. It is an all-woman off-road navigation race. Through like 7 days through the desert with no GPS, everything by map. Super cool event. It's been going on for a long time. There's a bunch of women that we've interviewed on the show. Go back to when we interviewed Rochelle Croft twice, and there's a couple good interviews there.
Do you want to name drop anybody else that we've interviewed?
What's Sarah? What's her
Price?
Sarah Price. What's the
look?
Erica Sachs.
It's all meaningless to me until we get Steve Garvey on the show.
I know.
So
we're still...
That's when I know we've made it.
Chris, it doesn't matter how cool you are.
We hardly ever talk about baseball, but to me, if we can get my childhood hero, Steve Garvey, first baseman for the Dodgers, if we can get him on the show, then I know we've made it.
Dude, Chris, it doesn't matter how cool you are or how much shit you've raced. If you're not Steve Garvey, Matt is barely interested.
It's fine. I mean,
Jeremy McGrath.
I insulted Jeremy McGrath to his face.
So yeah, but you're on a fourth.
Yeah. He basically called him a fat old guy, and that didn't go well for us. I think there's some sponsorships we missed out on for that after that episode.
Oh, there goes Monster.
Yeah, for sure.
Weird.
So
I'm a rock star guy anyhow. So whatever.
Blasphemy. So you sold the Pro Buggy. What class are you in right now?
So I'm in it's called Pro Spec. So it's a Pro Light with a spec GM V6 LV1 engine and 4-speed G-force transmission. It's a really cool class that Champ Off-Road came out with last year, and didn't really have a good. They put the rule book out 2 months before the race season started for the new class, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the class I want to build the truck for, but it's 2 months and I already have my program set. Right, it made no sense for any other racer to hop into it. So there's a Ryan Beat was the first guy to start it, working with GM Performance, and kind of pushed it through. I guess it was more of an exhibition type thing last year. And then this year, it's looking like for the first race, there's going to be 4 trucks, and then hopefully more coming on board. I know of a bunch that are being built. So going back to the truck itself, it's a really cool truck, a really cool class. So the Pro Light, limited suspension, limited wheelbase. You're 74 inches wide, 12 inches of travel in front, 14 in back. Typically, the pro lights have a V8 in it. I don't want to say a spec V8 because it's gotten out of hand a little bit. It's a phenomenal class, but it's just getting to a point where the roll cages are getting bigger and the suspension travel is staying the same. Okay. So when they came out with the pro spec, it made a lot more sense. So you're looking at 300 horsepower, 3,000 with the driver pounds, and everything is locked down. The engine's locked down from GM. The ECU is locked down from GM. You can only run a 567 rear gear ratio, and you have essentially 2 tire choices, which is a 265 75 16 or a 31 10.5 15.
And while you can see the truck at the Facebook page for VDE Racing, VDE Racing. And while we're talking about tire spec, an interesting side note is that when I invited you on the show, I didn't know that you were looking for a new tire sponsor, and you landed a pretty badass new tire sponsor. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So when you invited me on, I was in talks with Nexen Tire, and it came to the point where we already agreed on what we're going to do for the year, and fortunate to have Nexen Tire on board with supplying tires, and man, they're really great tires so far. I got to test on the ATs, and I haven't tested
the ATX or the AT proper.
The AT Pro.
Okay.
Because the ATX, I think, are launching tomorrow. I don't know if I can say that.
Tomorrow?
Well, this will be Thursday.
Nobody
so,
listens anyway.
Yeah,
oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Tomorrow is technically Friday.
It's
according to when this comes out.
Depending on what time zone you're in.
The Twilight Zone is always a factor. The spiral zone.
There may,
you never know.
By the time this is released, there may or may not be an announcement about a new tire from Nexen.
Yes.
So for us, we've been running on the Nexen tires for the
Kevin Jones been racing on.
There's an Ultra 4 racer that we kind of helped introduce to Nexen, and he's ran the King of the Hammers on that.
Let's brag about that. We did introduce him.
I'm trying not to take too much credit. But look, they're bulletproof. They're bomb-proof tires. We were super happy with them. I'm excited about seeing them on your rig and see how they do on the race circuit for you. So speaking of race circuit, you said you're starting to pack up now because you got something coming up.
Yeah. Yep. So this weekend we have our kickoff first race of the season for Champ Off-Road. That'll be in Anago, Wisconsin, and they actually took I think it's a half mile, if I'm correct, circle track and converted it with an infield and stuff like that. So it should be a pretty good race. It's a very tight technical track.
So let's talk about that for a second. The short course. When you say short course, I'm immediately picturing like circle track with the jumps and the weaves and the in and out. Am I accurate? Like what is the short course?
So part of it, I guess it's I guess you guys haven't been up to Crandon at all, have you?
Like where's Crandon?
Crandon, Wisconsin. Is
it east of the Rockies? Because if it's east of the Rockies, I'm
you definitely didn't make it out to Crandon for the Labor Day race. I would say there's over 75,000 spectators that show up for that race. And we have Ultra 4 show up for it and everything else. So it's phenomenal how big it is.
Wow.
So short course off-road, we always joke about it. Actually, we don't even joke about it. It's literally just, it's the most amazing unknown sport there is. Because
we were just talking about the Frisbee thing earlier.
Yes.
So
okay, you got a high bar.
We've got a pretty high precedent.
You got female Frisbee football to deal with right now.
Female Frisbee football. The triple F.
The triple F league.
Motorsport.
Yeah.
Okay, how about that?
Put them on scooters.
Segways.
No, those
Female frisbee football on segways.
Those
How
electric unicycles.
the electric, the one wheels?
Yeah, that
yes,
go off-road.
Absolutely. Okay, so it's the second most exciting unknown sport ever. I'll give you that.
All right, we'll go with that one. You guys set your standard pretty high, so
That's exactly the opposite of everybody that's ever talked to me in my lifetime.
So the tracks, the only way I can describe most of the tracks, aside from like Antigo or other tracks that we've raced that were circle track converted to it, it's like a road course that has a ton of elevation change. It's about 1.5 miles to roughly 1.5 miles, sometimes under that, sometimes under a mile course. But you're hitting corners at about 100 miles an hour with 15 cars around you and launching off of jumps that are actually hills. So you can't really see the backside of them half the time. So you're flying probably 120 to 200 feet in the air, which is pretty crazy.
So I'm watching.
Sounds like a recipe for
fun.
Yeah,
for
okay.
I was
trying to think of a good
for
word.
money. A lot of money.
For money.
For carnage. I'm watching some videos, and it's similar to the Lucas Oil off-road short course that we've gone to watch. Yeah. It's fender to fender, fiberglass flying off at every turn.
I love it.
There's nothing but a frame and a body at the end of the race. But it does look like the most fun you could ever have in a vehicle. I will definitely, like, I've been to drift events, and that looks super cool. The amount of horsepower and doing 50 miles an hour sideways, which is a typical commute here in Southern California. But the short course, that type of turning and racing and jumping and then dipping right back into it, that looks like a shit ton of fun.
Yeah, it's like motocross with a truck. I guess the only way I can put it. But yeah, and
sounds like something I'd be good at.
Yes,
motocross with a truck.
Once you'd be good at it.
One time.
That's for one lap. And then,
as long as you didn't have to batten anything down in the bed of the truck, I'm in the race. That's for sure.
Matt, every trip there's a over/under bet on how much toilet paper will fly out of the back of Matt's truck, and
just
when.
One time it was toilet paper.
Yard sailed. Well,
why'd you
his
bring so
entire
much?
Backyard.
Look, it was beginning of COVID. And there was that whole, the run on toilet paper. And whatever redneck store I went to in the high desert had, a bunch of toilet paper. I was like, these fools don't know about this place out here. And I stocked up on some TP while we were four-wheeling. So what? And half of it's still in the desert, probably.
No, we picked it all up. It was, but yeah, Matt thinks his 2018 Frontier Profar X is a short course race truck and drives accordingly. That's the
he knows it's a short course race truck.
That's the way he does it.
So is there video proof of this happening?
Oh, I'm gonna say
no, because nobody's up within eyesight of seeing me to take that video.
You can't see Matt beyond the cloud of dust that he leaves behind. The group is
Kevin could.
Yeah,
there's one guy that might have video. Kevin Jones, Ultra 4 racer.
Yeah,
no big deal. I was beating him.
I don't know if you were beating him. I think we'd have to go back to the tape.
There is no tape.
So
it's all word of mouth. It's all pretty soon I'll be what's the Blue Ox, or the Paul Bunyan story. I'll be like a myth. There was a guy in just a stock Pro 4X that was able to take out an Ultra 4 racer, and he did it right here. And there'll be a plaque and probably a statue.
But no one's gonna. The Ultra 4 racer was driving his wife's 2001
It
Grand
matter
Cherokee.
What it was. Nobody knows about that part. Nobody knows. Nobody knows how the ox turned blue.
Yes.
They just know there was a blue ox. We don't need to get into those details.
Okay, so I'm not sure how Paul Bunyan became part of the show, and I apologize for that. But I told you this is what you were getting into.
That's a tangent. We're known for our tangents.
You know what? At least it's a new. It's not Sasquatch or aliens, so it's new. I'm good with it. Don't start.
That's coming up. I have proof. I have proof that we can do that.
Don't start. So when's the race? It's this weekend?
Yeah, it's this weekend. So we got a new semi this year. So we're having it trailered to the track.
Again, this guy. We got a new semi truck this year, and
well, okay.
I'm gonna finish building up that spaceship, and we're gonna launch it to the moon.
Yeah. So, we came from stacking buggies in a 48-foot, 28-foot living quarter, plus living quarter, smaller trailer, but it was that going to a point of, hey, we should actually do something bigger. So
yeah, and with all the gear and the extra tires and the stuff to manage one of those races, you've got to have a place to put all that stuff to get it there and then live out of for the weekend.
Yeah, that's the craziest part of it. I mean, you're literally living at the track for 4 to 5 days, and you want to sometimes shower, or you want to sometimes take a break from not being in dirt constantly. So yeah, it's nice to have that, but the sheer amount of parts alone for this truck is just crazy in comparison to what the buggies were. Just the size of the tire difference, everything else. It's just putting all of that into the trailer. It's like, oh my God, this is so much more than what we used to have.
Is there a difference in, I'm not going to say reliability, is there like the buggies, and I don't know shit about buggies. Is it less likely to break things on the buggies because they're smaller and lighter and less horsepower, or are you seeing it's just you're racing and you're pushing everything to the limit?
You're still pushing things to the limit. I mean, through my pro buggy career, I guess I've gone through multiple engines, and you go through CV axles, especially if you're landing under power constantly. You go through CV axles, and then you get more CVs than anything than axles. But with that, and then just contact, you're getting hit, so you have certain things that fail. I've had to go through, because we ran Mendiola 5 speeds in those, and I've had to go and buy a brand new case for it. I've had things crack and stuff like that. So it's racing. I don't know if there is something that's more or less reliable. It's more or less what you like or what you want to put your money into. Buggies can be cheaper, and but it's all what you want to spend. And there's a lot of people that like to spend a lot more than what we do.
I think that's kind of like we had talked about that before. You're kind of it's that fusible link, or you're kind of keeping your break point where you want it, right? If it's a CV that keeps breaking, and then you reinforce that, well, now you're transferring that extra strength or torque to something that maybe isn't as easy to replace.
Yeah, you fix one Achilles tendon, the next one's the weak link, and then you got that one fixed.
Then next thing you're up in your knee, having that rewired and greased. Yeah.
Eventually I'll get it all replaced. So the race. So now let's go back to a little bit of your background. So during all of this stuff that you were doing, all of the rallycross and the buggy, you were working full time to support this habit.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned earlier that I'm doing this full time. I'm not yet. We're getting to that point. We're transitioning to that.
This is all part time, and now I hate you even more that you have this much time. And
I don't sleep. I mean, you could ask my wife. I get home at midnight, 1 a.m, and she gets mad because she typically stays up for when I get home from the shop. And then she's like, well, I got to get up in 5 hours. Why'd you do this to me? So
yeah, let's talk about that. She's in the chat room. I think we should get to the bottom of this for her sake. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, so you're obviously putting in, there's no way that you do this racing thing without being fully invested in it, right? You don't do this half-ass or part-time. So I'm sure you're working a full-time job and a full-time racer and a full-time personal life. Like, how are you balancing all of that?
I'm not sure.
Poorly. Hold on. Let me get in the chat room and ask your wife. How is he doing?
Well, she said she hasn't seen him in months. So.
That's why their marriage is working so well. She hasn't seen him in months. He can't piss her off.
So it's actually really funny. We joke that I have to be home at least. I think she knows more than I do, but I think it was like, okay, you can't be home more than 3 nights a week, and you can't not be home less than one night. So
that sounds like algebra or something. Did you just?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what I just said, but
Cody, can you put a spreadsheet together for what he
I
just
think
said?
what I
I
just
would like it to like color code.
broke our brains.
What I think what I just heard was his wife said, "I want you around sometimes, but definitely not all the time."
What it sounded like to me was a trap. Like I want you around when I want you around, and you better know that.
You could be here when I want you here,
That's
but when I
right.
don't want you here, you better not be here.
Yeah.
Oh, he has to be home once a week, and we have to be apart at least 2 nights.
Oh, that seems reasonable. That seems,
Yeah, at
that
least-
seems
see,
like a
she-
good recipe.
she keeps track of it. I don't.
Yeah.
He's getting that text message that says, "Okay, you're 4 hours away from your allotted time. Are you ready to be here?"
That's nice. At least she keeps track that way. You know, it gives him 4 hours of warning.
Yes, she sets alarms on his
I wouldn't
phone.
get anything like that. I would just perpetually in trouble. That's
Yeah, I was
my
just gonna
life.
say,
What did I do?
30
I just went to
seconds after
work.
midnight, you would get an angry text, asshole.
At midnight, how about 9 o'clock?
Well, I mean, again, that's there's so much that goes into this to do it well and to be competitive and to satisfy that need to compete. I think that it takes a lot, not only just from you, but from your wife and your support group and all of those people to get behind that, because you're not loading that truck up by yourself and you're not prepping for those trips by yourself, and all of that stuff takes a huge team around you. Tell me about that team. Is that mostly family members? Is it friends and family? Is it just people that want to be involved?
Yeah, so it started out as just family, more or less, and then it's the more I've done different motorsports stuff like that, the more it's just grown. I have 3-4 crew guys at this point that are just good friends that wanted to be a part of it.
Okay, but are they good crew guys? Because I have 3 or 4 friends that I could make crew guys. We would suck. We would not win shit. There'd be a lot of beer drinks.
Yeah, it depends on what you need the crew to do.
I'd be rolling in on a flat tire. They'd be like, "Fuck, that sucks." Looks like you got a flat tire.
That is
Well,
really
you shouldn't have
flat.
hit whatever you hit.
That is really flat.
So when I can keep them on tap,
Casey!
they're good.
Oh.
No, they're phenomenal. I have 2 of my buddies that, so I guess he's now my crew chief at this point. He's been around for a long time when I was in drifting, stuff like that. So he kind of came with, but then his coworker, he was like, "Hey dude, I want to be a part of this." And my main crew guy, Jensen, he was like, "Hey, I'm just bringing a buddy up to the race." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like, I don't know who this guy is. Thank you. Like, is he just going to like hang out all weekend? But
Drink my beer and eat my burgers.
right. And he's going to sit in our pit spot. No. So he came up and he actually kept Jensen more on task than anybody else ever has. So I'm like, yeah, this guy's in.
We need to get him a shirt that says Jensen's handler.
Pit boss.
The crew chief, the crew chief handler.
Yes.
We could have my wife do that. She makes all the
She
shirts.
does.
Oh, there you
She does not knit them though.
No crochets, but she
She
doesn't. She
crochets.
does not crochet my shirts, unfortunately.
Oh.
Or fortunately, I'm not sure which at this point.
So you've got 3 crew members, and then how many other people are involved in all of the other things?
Yeah, so 3 like main crew members, and I have my wife, like I said, is my spotter, and then she's the one that makes sure that I actually eat.
You better not piss her off. I could see her on the headset like, "No, you go ahead. You go faster. Let's see what happens." No, you got nobody in front of you. I dare you. I dare you to take that jump at 60.
So it's actually really funny when she spots for me and I'm like driving over my head, or if I'm driving like an asshole because I'm pissed off, she'll be like, "Slow the fuck down." Like, you need to slow the fuck down.
That's every conversation my wife and I have every time I get in the car and go someplace.
True story.
True story. That ain't a joke.
I mean, there's about 50% of the time that I might listen to her when she says that. So
okay, since it came up, I have to tell this story. Last Friday, the Friday before Memorial Day, we went to pick up Presley, and we had to go to an event. My wife was working with a company that was doing a grand opening, and she's driving. I'm sitting in the passenger seat. She looks at the map. She's like, "We're not going to make it in time. Waze says we're not going to make it in time."
How much time we got?
I said, "Let me drive." She looked at me. I said, "I'll get us there in time." and she reached down for the buckle on the seat, and I could feel the tingle inside my body that she was admitting that I could get us there on time. And I swear 30 seconds afterwards, she regretted that decision, but we got there on time. And it was like the biggest win for all mankind. Like, yes. So do
you ever bring that back up to her though? Or will you?
It just happened.
Happened Friday.
There's a cooling off period.
Yeah.
You don't want to push it. It's only been a week, man.
We haven't really about 6 months. Yeah, we haven't really gone anywhere. But but trust me, I'm gonna have that tattooed on the back. My driving skills was in our wedding vows. That's how serious we are about our driving skills. But I do think, and all joking aside, I do think having someone that you trust and really knows you be your spotter has to be an advantage. When you're out there and you're pushing it and that person says yes you can push it, or you need to back the fuck off. Like, okay, yes, and I would feel like that's
you got that from Days of Thunder, dude. That's what's his name? Cole. You got more in, and he's like rooting Cole on.
They weren't sleeping together though. It was an old dude. It wasn't his wife. You're right.
You don't know that.
We don't know.
They seem to be very affectionate towards each other.
There's a really good possibility.
In my opinion. And that's Tom Cruise coming off of Top Gun. That movie was like, there was a lot of innuendo there too,
You're right.
So you don't know. No. Robert Duvall, and he was still in his... Never mind. I'm going to back off the throttle there.
Yeah, let's cool the jets.
I think I went far enough.
You took it far enough. We get what you're saying. But
they had lonely shop nights, right?
Sure.
Right? I get that impression.
It gets cold.
You're
you gotta
working.
Snuggle. You got to do
two
what you
guys
gotta do.
leaning over the car, looking at a motor. Things happen.
You reach over with a wrench, and your elbow brushes.
No, they reach over the same wrench. And
their hands touch.
Oh.
And Tom Cruise is like, that's a really wrinkly hand, and then it just goes downhill from there.
I knew you were a standard man.
Have you seen my 10 millimeter? Why don't you come over here and look for it?
Let me show you an American version over here. That makes no sense, but still.
Shit. Okay, so
see, Chris,
trying.
This is what you knew. You knew this. Or you should have known you were coming onto this show.
I'm trying to commend you and your wife for the ability to do that.
And I'm just comparing the two of you to two great actors and a wonderful story.
But I'm commending you for the ability to do that in a constructive way. And wife, do me a favor, hit mute for 30 seconds because I want to answer a question.
No. You should have hit mute a minute and a half ago.
Shh. I'll signal when it's time to turn back up.
Now mute.
Do you ever get off the track and she's like, asshole, I told you not to do that?
Not really, actually.
Good answer.
No.
Okay, we'll move on from that one. I can see the fear in your eyes.
No, seriously, I'll get off the track and she, maybe later on in reviewing what happened, she'll be like, yeah, you didn't listen when I told you to go right. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't.
Well, again, I think that speaks volumes to your ability to communicate as not only as driver and spotter, but as a couple, and for her to be so not only involved but integral to the success of your racing career. I think that's pretty awesome. She says LMAO, I spot for 3 people. He listens the least. All right, now we have some things to get into the bottom of. Like, who are these other people that she's spotting for, and were you aware of this?
It's not like some weird affair.
I'm just saying, look, if my wife's spotting for other people, I want to know, and I want to cut, is what I'm saying. And I'm going to be very selective.
Yeah, it's for one of the other guys that's under our tent, Josh, who races UTV. He's one of my good buddies that I've known from back in the day. So that's fine. He's married. But yeah, no.
Hey, I have a question. I'm going to be serious for a second, for the first time in a few episodes. When you say spot, what exactly, if you're on the track and she's spotting for you, is that like traffic or, hey, there's a car accident up ahead? What specifically is spotting?
So it's I guess, yeah, there's designated spotter tower, so she's looking over the track and seeing where I am and what's going on ahead of me, track conditions, if things are changing, if there's ruts that are forming, things of that nature. She's talking to me where to go, what to do. So she has to read the track just as much as I do while I'm in the car. And
is this like over the radio, or does she have one
Yep.
of those signs like where, you know, it's, just,
no,
it's all phonetically spelled, like, hey, turn forward?
No, it's over the.
You know,
it's over.
Every time you go to, it's like, hey, ass, hold, slow, down.
Yeah,
That would make me laugh if I saw that. It's definitely over radio. So, so she's constantly in my ear telling me what's going on, things of that nature. And a lot of it is strategic things. You know, if there's like a slower car on the inside or something like that, or if it's there's a pile up, whatever it be, it's let's avoid this go around here, or hey, you sucked in this corner, take this line, or something like that.
Or when there's a mass pile up and there's a cloud of smoke, you got to go through, and she goes, I got faith in you, I know you can do it, Cole, put the hammer down, you can make it,
dude. I can't.
And then then after you come back and it inspires you, and
there's so many
just
parallels.
saw Days of Thunder like last week, so it's very fresh in my head. Yeah,
I cannot tell you the level of arousal I would achieve if my wife said, "There's a slow car on the inside. You got to take him on the outside." We'd be done at that point. I can't imagine my wife ever saying that because she hates the way I drive, anyways. So I guess I probably share too much.
Well, I mean, like driving on the street and driving on the track are two different things. So.
Yeah, it depends on who you ask.
Not really.
And there's the problem.
You clearly have not driven in Southern California. I will tell you that right now, because it is a race for your life every day you get on the freeway.
I have actually.
Oh,
so.
Really? Speaking of Southern California,
time of day.
Time of day. And the racing, the circuit, like how many races are coming up in this circuit, and where are these races all going to be held?
Yeah, so total racers between sportsman racers and pro racers, I'd say there's over 250 to 300 racers. It's crazy as to how stacked the pits are when you go through there. I mean, it's something that you have to take a drone and see.
Wow.
Because it's amazing. I mean, you have, like I said, some races up to 75,000 spectators alone. And it's just absolutely nuts. But as for where the races are, for this year, it's all out of the Midwest, and it's very Midwest centric. Like you kind of had mentioned earlier with Lucas Oil, before their series folded up. We stole a lot of those racers after that because there was such like this East Coast, West Coast type battle.
Yeah.
But now it's awesome because you get all those racers in the Midwest, which is phenomenal. So right now it's based out of Wisconsin, Upper Michigan, and Minnesota. So there's tracks strewn about there. We have 6 total weekends of racing. 2 of them are at Crandon. 1 at Anago, which is the first race of the year. Then we have Dirt City Motorplex, which is about 45 minutes from my place, 45 minutes from Green Bay.
Damn it. Dirt City. Sorry.
and then we have, like I said, there's one in Bark River, Michigan, and then ERX or Elk River.
Minnesota, Elk River,
yep,
Minnesota.
Yeah,
I'm at champoffroad.com looking at the schedule. So you said that there's going to be 4 racers at the inaugural at Antigo. What are your expectations on that ramping up for the rest of the series?
Hopefully we're going to have a few more. I know right now that there's trucks being built. I don't know when they're going to be done. I think there's a lot of people that were hesitant right away of getting into the class because you already had the same truck essentially, but with a different engine package. But it's just, we're stubborn in the Midwest, very stubborn. And if you're stuck in your old way, that's what you want to go with. And if you don't want to change your program, you don't want to do that. So I guess I'm one of the guys that's jumping in head first, going into this class saying, this is a phenomenal class. Let's get into it. But the way that it's going, there's a lot more talk of getting into the pro spec class than staying in the current pro light class for some racers.
Yeah, and
So,
I would think that there's an inherent advantage to getting into a class like this early, with the expectation that it's going to go on for a long time. You get in early, you get a chance to dial the engine in, the package in, the whole program gets dialed in a little bit faster than everybody else. That in 2023, when someone wants to join this, you've already got 6 races under your belt that they're going to have to try to make up. Was that part of the reasoning of doing this?
yeah, that and just solely wanting to grow my career. Buggies are, like you said, you're like, oh, what's a buggy, right? So how do you market and promote a buggy? The next step is getting into a truck, and there are sportsman class trucks, but that's just not really what I want to get into. So I really want to make like I said, a profession out of this and continue doing a lot more. So it made more sense to jump into this class right away. And in a way, you got 4 trucks on track. So you have 4, you're going to have a lot more TV time and media on those 4 trucks than you will 20 trucks.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps out a little bit when it comes to the marketing and eyes on the racing aspect of it, and saying, I got into it essentially in its first year. And then the thing I love about it though, is I'm already helping people that are building trucks. So I can be like, hey, build this truck. Here's how you got to do it, blah, blah, blah. And getting those people into that class is just going to benefit later on.
Yeah.
So
grow the class overall. You
Yeah.
mentioned marketing and stuff. How much of all that stuff, like the social media management, the Facebook pages, the marketing, is that all something that you and your team are doing in-house?
Yeah, I pretty much do all of that as well. So it's constant. I've taken classes. Alex Streiler, I don't know if a lot of people have heard of him. He's a phenomenal guy. He wrote essentially the motorsports marketing Bible. That I've read his book. I've gone to classes. I've done online classes and all of that kind of stuff. So it's just a matter of trying to find more time to dedicate to marketing. And that's the whole thing. The whole push of going professional is, if we land a couple other sponsors and things like that, and then I can do a side gig essentially, or just depend on marketing only. It's not far away from just being a professional racer at this point, which is great, because we have some really good sponsors on this year, really good supporters on this year, and we're still waiting on a couple yet that are that we've been in talks with.
Who are they? Let's call them out right now, and I'll talk to them.
I'm not doing that.
Well, look, I'll tag them in this and be like, listen to this episode, and you can, that would probably hurt your chances more than anything.
100%.
Don't tell anybody you're on the show, ever.
No, it's a much larger corporate company that is actually
McDonald's,
Coors Light.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be phenomenal, but we'll see. But yeah, it's working with companies that are non-endemic or non-motorsports related is kind of the next step in growing it. The biggest thing for me that I want to take away from, or I guess leave a legacy of, is growing this sport to the level of NASCAR, because I don't see why it can't be. It's such a phenomenal motorsport. Like, there's so much going on, so much action. People are rolling, people are jumping at speeds that are just insane. And then to have, when the Pro 4s come around the track and you have 10,000 horsepower flying right by you at 100 miles an hour around a corner, it's just, you can't, NASCAR doesn't give you that same feeling as a spectator.
I would agree. I think there's way more variables in a short course than the circles. I mean, like, NASCAR has plenty of activity and action and all that stuff, and they're going super fast and all that. But like, you go 48 laps before something happens, whereas it seems like in the short course, at least the ones that we've watched, there's something happening on every turn.
Yeah. I mean, you got 15 minutes or less to go from the back of the pack to the front, and, the gloves come off at that point for a lot of the times,
the gloves come off, and then fenders and there's usually debris Yeah, that's great. I love it. There's hoods hanging off. Like, oh man, is that going to make it another lap? Who knows?
We were at the Lucas a couple years ago, I think 2018, 2019, and one of the cars that won, like there was literally nothing left except for the frame. That was like just the roll cage, and the guy, like, he was dragging half of his vehicle behind him, and it was a super cool event to see, that kind of carnage.
Little kids running out there like, Daddy, I got me a door panel.
That's right. They were chucking the panels out and over the fence for people to take home.
And that's probably sitting over his bed today.
Yeah,
yeah.
That is like the go-to thing. You have kids at your pit waiting for any part, panel, something
debris.
That fell off.
They should come on our trips, because I guarantee Matt will leave something behind for them to
just some anything paper, sharp. Go ahead and take that, kids. Want me to sign it for you?
Oh, it's hot. Hold on, it's hot.
Yeah, hold on. Let it cool down. It's still smoldering.
Yeah,
from when I drug it around the track for 3 laps.
I think one of the craziest things about off-road that I've realized is I think that's the only motorsport that you can roll 5 or 6 times and keep racing, where they don't.
We do it all the time.
Down. Yeah. I mean, you guys get it. But yeah, it's funny. Like you said, the guy that finished with no panels. I mean, there's been many people that have rolled and then still taken first.
Yep. Somehow land dirty side down and keep going.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't see that in NASCAR. You don't see that in circle track. Anything. You don't.
Should we see it in NASCAR? Let's think about that. Start putting some jumps out there, or let's get the kids involved and make sure that there's some debris for them. Never mind. I was going dark again.
Yeah, we're about to. Yeah. So what's next on the journey towards the, not only the growth of VDE Racing and your full-time career, but like, what do you see going forward in the future? What kind of things do you need to get lined up to be able to do this full-time, and where do you want to take that?
So it's essentially figuring out partners that I can rely on year after year, and at least start that relationship. A lot of it's networking. A lot of it's just getting to the point of having a face and a name and a brand, right? So we can kind of go to the purple thing if you'd like.
So yeah, let's talk. So I don't know if I've ever talked about this on the show. Like, I love our Nexen tire branding, and Nexen's very purple. But I have a history with the color purple that gives me dry heaves. Like,
movie?
That's a good pull. No, so what was it's purple is like one of those, like you don't accidentally end up with purple, you choose purple. What was the background in VDE going purple?
All right, so you guys have heard of Cynthia Gauthier, right?
Yes.
Monster Mutt, right? Okay.
Yep.
So she used to race short course off-road in a 1600 buggy. My brother ended up buying her old 1600 buggy, and that was purple. And we were sitting there, how do we get into, or like, how do we make all these cars look the same? The year prior, we had a wrap that we really hated. It was like this old jet fighter looking thing, but everybody has the same kind of wrap, and it didn't stand out. It didn't look like anything. So we're sitting there like, man, there's no buggy out there. There's no race vehicle out there that is purple.
There's a reason.
So it's so hard to pick a vehicle out sometimes, especially when it gets muddy, whatever it be. Everything kind of looks the same blend. So you're like, oh, is that the right car? Is it not sometimes? And we're like, well, my brother Andy, we're like, his car is like super bright purple, and we kind of like the color. It was like a metallic deep purple, and we're like, let's do that. So we all decided to wrap our vehicles the same color, and that's pretty much it. And then we just stuck with that because it's a cool brand, because we had kids coming up to us that are like, or not even coming up to us, but you had kids in the stands that were next to you going, oh my God, that's the purple buggy. That's so cool. Yeah. And then you hear that, and I mean, that's the future of motorsports there too. So if you can get little kids excited about something because the car is purple, that's great.
Yeah, I could totally see that being something standing out on the course, like, being able to pick out that vehicle.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Metallic Deep Purple is playing Coachella this year, and they are They're like a synth, Deep Purple cover band.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They're hardcore punk, Deep Purple punk tracks.
Their second album was Deep Punk. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That is funny. Speaking of which, there's a band called Punk Rock Factory that does Disney songs in a punk rock genre, and they're freaking amazing.
Okay,
I absolutely love them. They're not playing Coachella, but they are coming on tour, and we're trying to get tickets. But I could totally get that. Like it's a brand. It's something that stands out that says, okay, I know who that is.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the biggest thing. It's, you don't want to change it every year. You don't want to do that kind of thing. So we just stuck with it. And that's that. But
so. you do it in a good way. I'm no joking. All joking aside, like it's definitely the brand, but you do it in a cool way that makes the truck look cool. Like the picture on Facebook, it's got the graphics on the side, and then the Nexon logo ties right into that, and it's black, and it's really cool. I mean, I joke around about purple because, like I said, my first wife hurt me with that color. And
what's worse, that color or Costco gas?
Costco gas.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I wanted
to,
now
there is nothing.
I want to know like the
okay.
levels.
There's nothing worse than Costco gas.
Okay.
Or no. I take it back. The gas itself, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing worse than the people that go get Costco gas.
If
Those
there's a
people.
Purple car waiting in line at Costco, that's the worst person.
That
I'm
going to need
Confirmed.
therapy after that. Yes.
Okay.
My anger.
Right.
After that?
After that. Yeah, you're going to wait till that. Huh? All right.
Good pull. So after these 6 races for Champ Sports, are you going to try to get any more track time between then and the next season?
We'll see. Yeah, I would like to. I like doing a post-season test if possible, but reality is you get burnt out after doing this for every other weekend, it seems, and you're go constantly, and you're always doing something, right? But I would absolutely love to get some RC time afterwards. If not, this year we tried to get in early, but we live in Wisconsin, so there's snow and all that stuff that doesn't leave until whenever it wants to.
Yeah,
snow on the ground.
But turn around.
I don't know if you're at home with that.
Yeah,
means,
see, that's our motto. If there's snow on the ground, turn around.
Yeah,
we're going back.
Our motto. You go up into the mountains. There's snow on the ground. Just turn around, go back home. Crack open some beer, sit by the pool or something, or I don't know. But
so if it was my choice, I would have 1 month of snow, and then not have snow.
And get it over with. Absolutely.
I don't love Wisconsin. I love summers in Wisconsin are phenomenal. But I definitely like the snowbird idea of living. So I think that might be in the future for my wife and I.
I tell you, it doesn't snow here. There's never snow here. It's 120, but it never snows here. I think listening to your story about being a gearhead and getting into racing, and then that leads to the next. It's almost like. It's almost like you're chasing the next shot of adrenaline with every different type of racing that you're doing, and then you've finally hit like that main vein. Like this is it. You're super amped about it. I'm really excited about it. What do you if you could lay out six races from now? What is a successful season for you? How would you lay that out?
Successful season would be on the podium every race, which honestly won't be hard when you have 4 cars for it, right? But I would really like to. It's first year into it, so I want to get my feet wet. I want to learn a different vehicle completely, because I'm losing 12. Well, I'm going for about 18 inches of track width. So these things roll a lot faster.
I was just going to say that's going to be a big transition going. I mean, I'm looking at the picture with the super buggy there. I didn't think about that, but I feel like that's way lower to the ground. It probably has a lot more wheel travel, and it's super wide. So you could probably lay into that thing into the corners, and the new truck may not do that.
Right. Yeah. Their Super Buggy is very, very forgiving. You can go into it, you can let off the throttle and not roll. Whereas with these trucks, if you're not committed and mashed onto the gas throughout the whole corner,
That's pretty much
you're
our philosophy on all of our trips. Like, be committed, mash on the throttle. We'll figure it out on the other side.
I mean, you're committed, right? That's all that matters.
And usually it ends up in picking up toilet paper.
But yeah, no, it's kind of a cool situation to find what I'm really passionate about and want to move forward with, and the beauty of it is there's never an end to it. So there's always something more to chase, something more to do. So it never, for me, really, there's no stopping what I want to do.
Well, and I think the other part of that is it's a family affair. It's a, everybody's involved, everybody's part of it, everybody's growing with the race team, and then your success is the family's success, and then I'm sure that will spark more motivation to do stuff. And I think that's really cool. I think I think doing, like I said, doing what you're doing, it takes a lot from time away and your effort and your energy and all that stuff, and to have someone so supportive to do that is amazing, and have a family around you to do that is amazing. And I think that's a recipe for success, and I really hope that you do really well. And I'd like to have a conversation with you in a couple months about those Nexen tires that you're running, to see how you feel about them, because we've gotten a lot of good positive feedback on those, and I'm interested to see how they hold up on the short course.
Yeah, I can tell you already, I'm excited for them. They're a lot higher quality than some other tires that I've run in the past. So I'm very, very excited. And yeah, I think they're going to work phenomenal for what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, I know that we're not trying to equate what we do on a weekend warrior wheeling expeditions, but we've had the ability to test them in everything from hard pack to sand to super sharp rocks,
ice and snow,
and they never let you down. Like, it's just. Matt was making the comment the other day, we were talking about that ice and snow trip, and he was like, I was more comfortable driving my truck
than getting out and walking around.
That's how much better the traction was.
Yeah,
and
easily.
Yeah. So
no, do you guys run the MTX then, or?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And they look great.
They do. I absolutely love them.
All right. Beast mode
out.
Beast mode or machine mode?
Beast mode.
Oh, yeah. All right. We've had enough. Talk to you later. It's good to talk to you. It's a thing. We argue about it. It's
the first set that I got, I put on they were stock size, and I asked the boys when I picked them up which side should be out, and they're like, unanimous. Oh, the beast mode. You got to do it with those claws. Like, you got to have that. Okay. Like, I would have gone machine, and I have not regretted that once. And since then, now I'm on 33s. It's beast mode all day.
So
looks great.
It's funny you asked that, because I had such an internal battle with myself as to what side I wanted to run out. And I'm like, you know what? It's a cool looking sidewall. I'm going to go with it. But the other side looks phenomenal too. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'll flip them around mid-season.
I had to go the Transformer route. I am more of a dork than a beast. So the machine mode works for me. Matt is a beast. I'm
like a dorky beast.
You're a fuzzy beast. You're a very fuzzy.
All right, let's keep it to the kids, so the kids can still listen.
If they're still listening,
if they got past the Thunder, whatchamacallit innuendo, Days of Thunder stuff.
If the kids are still listening, I want those kids.
They didn't get it. At least my kids wouldn't get it.
I don't know. Well, look, man, thank you. First of all, thank you for agreeing to come onto this random ass show and get yourself into this. It was really good to talk to you. You're very inspiring.
Well, he was also going to mention.
Oh yes, good call, Matt. You're partnering with Allies of Autism. Tell me about that piece of your racing and what you guys are doing there.
Yeah, so I'll give you the background on it. So Allies of Autism was started by Kevin Hanegraaff and his wife Vicky. Like I told you guys a little bit previously to this, they have two sons that have severe autism, and they wanted to kind of reach out to the community, give back to people, and and get a network going. And what better way in their eyes was to use short course off-road as a medium, because you're there at the racetrack, you're having fun. It's all, good spirits and very open atmosphere. You got fans coming through your pits, all of that. And the amount of people and impact that draws and has on people, when you say you have this big Allies of Autism logo on everything, they're like, oh my God, what is that? I gotta talk to this guy about it. Not only that, but they get to look up to this off-road racer and say, hey, this is cool. I love your truck. Tell me your story. They'll tell you their story type thing. And it's just a phenomenal way to network. And then at the end of the season, any of the race winnings, a certain percentage would be given back to specific families that needed it. And that to me stuck out and to our whole family. So we met them my first year in off-road racing, and we just became good friends with them. Unfortunately, Kevin had to retire last year at the end of the season, and he was quite bummed out about not being able to bring that to the track anymore. And he reached out to me, and we've been in contact, and he's like, hey, I want to put this on your truck, and I want you to represent it, and I want you guys to be the face of Allies. And he's like, I'll support you however I can, and let's try to make this work and grow with it. So we're pretty excited. We want to get to a point where we can start helping a lot of different families out, networking them and getting them in the right contacts that we need to.
And I think you made the point, like earlier when you were talking about how this is as much fun and should be bigger than NASCAR, and it seems to be a very family oriented event. You take your kids there, you watch the races, and I think that constant promotion and reminder for Allies of Autism is a way to I don't want to say promote, but to enhance the awareness. Good, thank you, Jose.
Carlos.
I don't know where that came from. I don't know why I just called you.
God.
I mean,
oh, Carlos.
Look,
Jose. I feel so bad for you. It's.
I don't know.
Carlos from here on out.
I think we're changing his name to Carlos. Honestly, I think one Carlos Jose Alvarado. I don't know where that came from. Is it on my screen somewhere? I don't know.
Now Tim's on it. You're doomed.
Fuck.
Oh, you're doomed. You're so doomed. Oh,
it's Carlos from now on.
Oh.
Tim, send me a Carlos sticker and I'll put it on his truck.
Oh shit!
Send me 2 and I'll put them on both.
I'm with Carlos.
Tim is already.
I'm with Carlos.
Oh my god! I'm sorry, Chris. This just went off the rails. The chat room's already. Thanks, Carlos.
That's the most exciting the chat room's been in weeks.
Shit. I don't know what happened. I'm dumb. Look, my point being is like it's driving awareness for people that may not be aware of exactly ways that they can help. And I think that's very commendable that you guys are partnering with them to do that. And you guys, anybody listening can find alliesofautism.com, and it kind of goes through the race team and what they're all about. And I think it's a great cause. And they've got all of the race schedule listed there, and a bunch of other partners that are participating in this. And they're out of Wisconsin as well. Mm-hmm. That is very cool, and I think it's commendable that you're not only passionate about the sport of off-roading and motorsports, but about helping and giving back, and that's very cool.
Yeah, appreciate that. I don't know. If you go into it, you got to go all into it. So that's something that I just absolutely love doing. So you might as well. If it's something near and dear to you, if you can bring it in, if you're passionate about it, just go for it. So that's kind of my whole mantra, I guess.
It sounds like it. It sounds like you don't do much half-assed. I mean, other than the time with your wife where you're like parsing that out, little bit here and a little bit there. I mean, I get that. Priorities, but everything else you go full on with. I can commend that. Sorry.
I'm gonna get home later. She's gonna be like, "What the hell happened?"
Oh no, she's listening. She knows.
Yeah, I know.
She's gonna be like, yeah, You're right.
She's gonna hold this episode like on her phone permanently.
You know what she's gonna do?
Held against you.
She's gonna have clips
in perpetuity.
She's gonna pull out all the clips, and he's gonna say something. She's gonna have one of those soundbite boards on, and it's gonna be like pressing buttons to remind him of the dumb stuff he said or what he agreed to.
I don't think she's gonna have to push the buttons. She's just gonna have to mention trail chasers, and then that'll be enough.
We're going to be listed in the divorce papers as per. That's funny. Well, look, really, really fun conversation. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I think that what you're doing is awesome. And I living vicariously through you, I hope that you get the sponsorships you need, and that you get the things that you need to be able to do this full time. And then, I know how much effort goes into trying to market something while doing something at the same time, and that's a full-time job in itself. And this is exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. I'm gonna try to. It looks like you can watch some of these events on the short courses when they come up. So I'm gonna put them on my calendar so I can try to stream them somewhere, and keep an eye out for that random purple vehicle going around.
As long as you don't get too triggered by the purple.
I'm getting over it. It's been 12 years. I'm getting over it.
We're gonna have to go split screen though with the girls frisbee thing.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. If you're up against a female frisbee football team event,
we'll go.
I'm watching the football. The frisbee.
Well,
football.
you could do like picture in picture and just like
exactly
up in the smaller corner, right?
I'll put you up in the smaller.
Yeah,
corner.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
I understand your priority. It's fine.
Well, I appreciate
you would know if you watched it. You'd be like, no, okay, I get it, guys.
Well,
I get the frisbee thing.
At first, it was like, this is
what
the
hell
dumbest
is
thing
this?
I've ever seen. What are we watching? An hour later, I shit you not, we were screaming at the TV. She's won!
You're designing plays. Like, why aren't you running like a button hook? Get out there.
It was so dumb. It was so dumb. But that's who we are. Well, look, man, thank you so much. Thank you to your wife for joining us in the chat room. That was a lot of fun. I apologize for any trouble you're about to get into when you get home, and I'm hoping that we get the chance to connect again in the future. So let's make a plan for after the season to come back on and tell us how it went, and we can talk about what you learned and what you're going to do the following year.
Absolutely, it'd be great.
All right, man. Thank you so much. You have a great night.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Carlos.
Oh my god.
Oh shit, I don't know what happened. All right, so we are still streaming live, so don't say anything bad, but that's where we're going to end the recording for the podcast. Super interesting conversation, dude. You're a lot of fun to talk to, and it was a good time. So I'll edit this tomorrow night after work, and I'll send you an email once it's posted and ready to go with some social media content, and it will be released on all the major podcast platforms, available for download Thursday morning, and then Thursday or Friday we'll start promoting the show on our social media to drive people to the episode. But between now and then, if anything comes up, anything exciting you want to talk about, hit us up, let us know. I'm really going to put these on my calendar to try to remember to watch them, because what'll end up happening is I'll forget about it, and then someone will say, "Did you catch the short course races?" And I'm because I have watched, like I said, Lucas. We watched Lucas and a couple other things, and it's you're right. It's this super cool, awesome, like badass racing, and it's just I think that it doesn't have. It's not mainstream enough yet to where like it's a thing on Sunday. That's what you do. It's just like, oh, they're few and far between, and when they come up, you forget about them.
Mm-hmm.
But you could see it. Like Supercross out here is super huge. Especially in Anaheim, it's the first 3 races essentially, and now they're starting to do. They're kind of splitting them up a little bit, but you can see it getting that popular. Nationwide, I don't see why not, especially if they could do it in stadiums and
yeah.
I don't know if that's feasible or not.
Yeah, I think that's what the future really should hold, if not that, and combining it even with a NASCAR race or something, putting it in front of those fans or something like that. And now next year they're actually going down to Georgia for a race, so that'll be interesting. And then 2024, it sounds like it'll be Georgia, and then possibly Lucas Oil Stadium or somewhere else in the east side of the country.
How great would it be if I told my wife, "Hey, honey, I'm taking you to Lambeau finally for some off-road racing"? That'd be so rad.
I would follow you. I would get up there first. I would get up there first to film it when she walked in.
There's no games.
There's no games.
June. In July. I'm all special
7-on-7
box seats.
passing league.
That'd be awesome, actually. A race in Lambeau Field. It'd be way too small of an area, I think, though.
Oh, see, if you went up into the stands and I don't know,
bro, you'd be getting a divorce out in Lambeau, like right outside of Lambeau Field. If you did that,
I would be getting a divorce. I didn't put the dirt in there.
But if you
I just showed up.
You took Monty.
Shit.
It'd
probably be the only way we could afford going into Lambeau, and that's if Chris hooked me up. Like, hey, dude, I got you an in.
But you have to wear a purple shirt and be part of the crew.
I have no problem wearing purple.
That's right.
fine.
You do wear like pink and teal.
I have a bright pink shirt. I have like a purple. It's like a I
don't know. Chris's wife said they do hold female frisbee football at Lambeau.
Boom. Boom. I'm there.
We should do it. We should female frisbee football. I'm telling you, people, look that shit up.
The 3F.
Look that shit up. Okay. All right, man. Well, we're gonna let you go for the night. We're gonna finish up our portion of the show, and then, like I said, I'll reach out tomorrow via email with the details, and you have all my contact information, and hopefully we get a chance to connect again soon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate you reaching out.
Thank you.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
Bye. I'm sorry, Carlos. That was I don't even. Where did that come from, dude? I don't even know.
Because you're racist?
Let's go with that.
Wow. I was
start there.
I was looking at a picture.
Did you see the way he was talking about the female football and stuff? He's probably a feminist too.
Probably. You say that like it's a bad thing. A feminist is pro-female.
Is it?
You're looking for misogynist.
Misogynist.
Yes.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you probably okay. Is it still not true? I'm very pro women in frisbee sports.
I'm very pro frisbee women people. Oh shit. This is a disaster. 3, 2, 1. All right, so getting over the fact that I randomly called Jose by the wrong name, and I apologize for that.
Who's Jose?
I apologize for that, Jose.
It's the 5th. It's like the 6th, Voltron.
Yes. We will have to edit the show and end it right there.
That's the 6th lion? It's Carlos?
That's going to be the next T-shirt in the shop. It's going to be, it says,
Carlos
I'm the
lion.
Carlos the 6th.
And all form Carlos.
The 6th lion.
Wow.
Oh, what a day. So a couple things. It is today, as we're recording this, is May 31st, Tuesday night. Coming up on June 2nd, which is Thursday, the same day this episode drops, June 2nd, 2022. The Jeep Talk Show will be airing an interview I did with them a couple months ago. Right. And I don't remember what I said. It was a while ago. Tony reached out for an interview.
So it's a good one.
It could be bad. I honestly do not remember the conversation. It was end of February, I think, and beginning of March. And so everything I said at that point could be now wrong. so there's an opportunity there. And then the three of us were on with Venture to Rome on the American Overlander podcast the other day, which
it comes out today, I think.
He said Tuesday. I checked and it's not up yet. So Will, if you're listening, it's not up yet. So I don't know what the schedule is, but there's an opportunity to hear us on somebody else's show. We interviewed Will a couple weeks ago. Super good conversation and good guy. And so he flipped the tables on us and started interviewing us. And I was the only one that responded to the invite because these two don't read emails. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Well, I wasn't really sure he was inviting me because I didn't talk to him. I wasn't on that week's episode. We interviewed him.
Well, you get a little bit of you get a little bit of credit there.
Does he want me on the show? He probably doesn't even know who I am.
He was super excited to meet you because we told him how awesome you were. But
that's the impression I got.
So the email went to everybody, all four of us.
Dude, it did.
All four of us. I was the only one that responded. He sent out an invite. I was the only one that accepted.
I responded 10 minutes before the show started.
After I texted you and said, "Are you going to join this tonight?"
Yeah, maybe I was still thinking about it.
You were still thinking about it.
Yeah.
So check out The American Overlander by Venture to Rome sometime in the near future, and we'll be on there. It was I thought it was fun to be able to, we weren't driving the conversation, not having to just let somebody else ask the questions for a bit and ask us some questions. At the end of the day, it was the same random nonsense that you get on this show.
It was pretty much almost.
It was like it was just a director's cut of the interview we did with him. It was just like a further.
Yeah. Well, I think it got into
like a Quentin Tarantino director's cut, or like a what's the sign?
Yeah, he's the one.
or
M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, sure, M. Night Shyamalan, or who's the sci-fi guy that does like all the Star Trek movies?
Ridley Scott?
No, you're talking about Joss Whedon.
No, that's Marvel stuff. All right, well, whatever.
What about Key and Peele? Which one of those? Jordan Peele, doesn't he do a lot of directing? Why are we talking about this? Okay, so that was fun. It was a fun time hanging out with Will again and talking to him and his buddy and his name was Carlos, and then
he was the Carlos of that show,
and getting to do that. Casey's not here tonight. He's the only one that did anything off-road related this weekend.
If anybody asks you your role on the show, Jose, you say, "I'm the Carlos of the show." That's horrible, dude. Oh my
god. I'm gonna go back and edit that. I'm gonna go edit that piece out, I think.
Why?
I feel bad. I feel really bad about it.
Just because Tim's going to ridicule him.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to happen already.
But. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. Casey's not here. He's the only one that did anything off-road related this weekend. We talked about going camping Saturday, but couldn't pull it off. Too much other things going on. But I hope everybody had a good Memorial Day weekend. Got a chance to hang out with people, with family or whatever. We did stuff over the weekend. Jose made a trip out to Texas to see some family. That was all just flights and rental cars.
Dude, I mean, I've been up since 2 a.m. today. I'm exhausted.
You look it.
I'm exhausted.
You don't look good, Carlos,
no.
at all.
Like, you look worse than usual. Yeah, I'm exhausted right now. I was like highly debating. I don't think I want to go to do the show, but
you could have mailed it in.
I'm phoning it in right now.
Phoning it in. We are going up tomorrow. You and I are going up tomorrow. So there is a new Foam Cell Pro lift kit at Bear Valley Overland waiting for an 80 series to stick it onto.
For promotional reasons.
So we're going to put on the Foam Cell Pro kit on the 80 series and then take that to Toyota Fest this weekend.
It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
You know what? It's interesting.
I saw the calendar invite. I'm like, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I put the calendar invite for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but the website only talks about Saturday, and our new marketing intern reached out to me this morning and asked me if it was all 3 days, and I don't recall. So I'm going to have to get confirmation, but it looks like it's only Saturday.
Oh, so it's not Sunday.
It does not, but I think we can set up Friday if we wanted to, but I think we don't really need to. We'll just get there early on Saturday and set up, and then I think it's a one-day event, all day Saturday.
Oh, okay.
So I know that Casey and Matt were both tied up Saturday. Jose and Matt were both tied up on Saturday. Yeah. Casey's going to be there with me on Saturday. Come find us. Come check us out. I think we've tried to go to this a couple times and it just hasn't worked out, but I'm excited to see, because it's more than just an off-road show. It's got a bunch of other vehicles, all kinds of different vintage Toyotas and trucks and everything. and I think it'll be a fun event put on by Cabe Toyota down in Long Beach. So Casey and I will be there on Saturday.
Is that like the Queen Mary or?
Yeah, it's down. What do they call that? It's what are that park is called down there? Oceanfront Park or something like that. It's down by that. Isn't there like a fun center and Ferris wheel and all that stuff?
A fun center,
fun zone, like Ocean Park, Long Beach.
Remember the Spruce Goose was there?
Was it really?
Yeah, it was adjacent to the Queen Mary, and now I think like Bill Gates bought it or something and brought it up to it's in Oregon now or something. Remember it was in a dome? You don't remember that? Dang, I'm aging myself.
I do remember the Spruce
weren't
Goose.
you there for the inaugural flight?
No.
Me and Howard Hughes. I was sitting in the plane. Do it, Howard. You can do it. And he did.
I do remember the Spruce Goose being down there. I don't remember why it's not down there anymore. Isn't the Queen Mary sinking?
Is it?
I think it is. I don't know.
Shoreline Aquatic Park. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's all down there. So we'll be down there hanging out. We have some new stickers that have been ordered.
It is haunted.
Queen Mary. Yeah, I don't think I stayed on there. Did I stay? I think I may have stayed in there once.
I like how you just look down the hallway and it's like bowed.
Yeah.
Like the whole shit. Like you ever been down there?
I've never been on the Queen Mary. No.
Oh yeah, like when you go down like the where all the rooms are at, it's like a long ass hallway, right? But the ship is like boat. Like you could see the.
Intentionally, or it's just old and falling apart now?
Old and
oh shit!
And the
that's brave to go walking through some old busted shit like that.
The hallways are like shoulder width apart. Dude, the doors are like
they're little.
It's like so.
It's when people were
people were smaller back then. Because I'll tell you, I went to Wrigley some years ago, and I had to shoehorn myself in and out of the damn seats.
Fenway's the same way. Fenway is tiny little seats. There's no place to put a backpack. The dude sitting next to me was like 6'2", and he's all crowded up in my shit. And he's like,
he kept rubbing my legs.
Yes, he did. And he's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm like, what are you gonna do? He had to sit there with his legs wide open because he couldn't get him in front of him because the seat was so close.
We have a ghost expert in the chat room. Is it really haunted? The Queen Mary?
Marketing intern. Is that the haunted? I think she goes down there and with her fluke meter and walks around the.
Yeah, you got to set it for microfarads. Walk around and just start waving the leads around. Start waving the leads, circular patterns, sometimes triangular.
Should you attach the leads to a wire coat hanger for an amplification of signal?
Oh yeah, that depends on the altitude.
Okay.
You know, that depends on what floor of the boat you are on. Maybe you're near the water and you don't want to do that, you know. Then you want to switch to ohms.
Hey, if you guys did encounter a ghost, would you come on the show and say, I saw a ghost?
Oh, yeah. F&A. I'd tell you right now, like, dude, I saw a ghost.
Yeah, I would text you guys like, dude, there's fucking ghosts in this world.
Yeah.
You're not going to believe this shit.
This fucking ghost here.
So I have a similar, a friend of mine he's one of the smartest guys I've ever known. He's my buddy since grade school. But basically woke up. He said he was renting his dad's house at the time or whatever down in Chino. He got up to go take a leak in the bathroom. He stepped in the hallway and he said there was an old like Negro League baseball player sitting in the corridor, like in the hallway, just dressed in like an old Kansas City whatever that
the
team.
uniform.
Yeah,
like you could straight up tell like
and
shit.
He's like, holy shit. That's really in front of me, and he was like, it was like not an apparition or whatever. It was just like there was. And I'm all, well, dude, it's Chino. Maybe there was a guy down there, and he was in your house.
But fair, I never said they don't exist. I just said I've never.
He swore to me that was a ghost, and he's all, they're real, dude. Ghosts are real, and that's the most anybody's ever said anything to me that's made me in the slightest bit believe that ghosts could be real is my buddy telling me that story. Yeah. So yes, if you told a similar story, which I'm telling you right now, you get me hooked like a fish. Just go, Matt, guess what? Guess what happened to me this weekend?
I mean, I went
some random spot and you saw some random regular dude.
While in Texas, I visited my uncle.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
okay.
shit.
No.
I feel like he's about to confess
ghosts.
something.
No, there's nothing. This has nothing to do with ghosts, but
aliens.
Yes.
Please. Oh my God. Yeah. Even better.
He lives in Alamo Gordo, New Mexico, which is like an hour and a half from El Paso.
Okay.
And apparently, pistachios are a big thing in that town.
And aliens love pistachios.
Well,
Everybody knows that.
Dude, if you're in New Mexico, like, you got one thing going for you. That's Roswell, dude, no matter where you live in that state. Because all the gift shops, they all have aliens. And, I mean, I think Roswell's like an hour and a half from there. So, but, yeah, my son asked me, like, hey, do aliens exist? And I couldn't tell him, no, they don't, because I don't know if they do. So I told him, I have never encountered one, so I can't lie to him. Like, no, they don't. I don't know.
So, one.
That was a long-winded way of saying.
I don't know about aliens, but
yeah.
there's a lot of alien action. They had in Congress.
Alien action, by the way, playing at Coachella this week.
Yeah, and olives.
And that's a special channel on Pornhub. Alien action.
Wow.
Actually, you know what? Hold on. This coincidentally, there's this show on. Yeah, I don't know. There's this show in the morning sometimes on Comedy Central or the Comedy Channel on Sirius, and I can't remember the name of the show, but they just come up with random shit. And this morning, I swear to God, they were like, so in the future, if you could have sex with a robot or an alien, which would you choose?
Yes.
And exactly. And
what does that robot look like?
Yeah, yes.
Well, that's what they're saying. They're like, well, I guess I'd probably choose a robot because I'm assuming we built the robot, and I'm like, no, you guys got it all wrong. Like, what if it was like that green chick from Star Trek, the original?
Oh, dude, there's this.
Shazam!
So
you go
video game.
aliens.
There's this video game called Mass
Nope.
Effect.
Nope.
Mass Effect.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a huge trilogy back like 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just
hot aliens.
I mean, there's all these different race of aliens, and you can go either way
that.
in that game, and you can go.
There's different.
How did we end up here at this?
It's
this
easy.
point
It's easy.
in our podcast. Yeah, I don't. Yes, Jose, I guess going back to your, if I had an encounter, as much as a skeptic as I am, especially,
I would text you as soon as it happened.
Yeah.
I would text you guys.
I would try to film it.
Here's the thing. I want to meet aliens, but I want to meet them like just on the street, like oh shit, there's an alien. Like it's just in a random moment. But that's not how it works in the movies. The aliens are always like sneaking up on you. It's those motherfuckers are always trying to get over on you. You can't trust
dude.
them.
Why do they always come out like at night only?
Well, that's what I'm saying. What if let's come up with a
Dude, you've seen what we've done to our world. I don't want to be up. I don't want to be up during the daytime either.
I just want them. Let's make a movie where it's just like bland. They're just walking around.
Just
They're on the Sunset Strip, and it's like,
hey,
guys.
Yeah, you walk into Jack in the Box, and there's shit.
Have you not seen Bright?
Yeah.
The movie Bright on Netflix?
No, is that the one like the kid has superpowers or something?
No. This was it's on Netflix and it's is it Will Smith?
It is.
Oh, that's like
he's a cop and
they're orcs and stuff like that.
The world is like fairy. It's like
there's fairies.
Yeah,
that's not aliens. Come on.
Okay.
Wiccans.
Come on.
Okay, my bad.
I laugh at orcs. It's like they're silly.
I wouldn't. That pisses them off when you do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that, dude.
They will mess you up.
Come at me, Will Smith.
That was pre-slap.
I was gonna say you about to get slapped. I don't. We don't have any additional information on upcoming runs because we have not planned anything.
We have 3 new reviews.
Oh, do we? Oh, and so let's do this real quick. The review. If you enter a review on iTunes or Spotify between now
for Spotify.
Well, because Danny hit me up and he's like, I don't have any Apple products. I don't have any access to iTunes.
Oh, so you and Danny are like best
yeah,
friends.
and I was like, you know what, Danny, you're absolutely right.
You're a green bubble guy.
So yes, totally. So iTunes or Spotify between now, today's date is May 31st, 2022, And June 21st, 2022, you will be entered into a raffle, and we're going to give away some stuff. We haven't decided what that stuff is, but it's stuff.
It was like...
You keep naming stuff.
We talked about
shirts.
shirts.
We were like gonna give away a car or something, right? Or it was like a free suspension system for something.
Or something. We're gonna give away stuff. Probably just a shirt, but so what? Go ahead, Jose. We'll let you read the interviews. What do we got?
This one's titled "Beware. This show is a choking hazard."
I've never been accused of that.
And it was left by Luke's 10K. It reads, my weekly fix of listening to Cody, Casey, Man Jose discuss all things off-road, much to my family's dismay as we eat dinner and I almost choke on my food from the constant banter. Always a great source of information and entertainment between the team and other listeners. Thanks, guys.
Nice.
One, why would you be listening to the show while you're eating dinner with your family?
Absolutely not. Do not suggest.
Weight loss. You're looking for a reason not to eat as much. So.
Do not suggest.
I guess I should just been like, why? There's no follow up. There's no two. So, anyways, next one, amazing content. This one's from Green Thumb Taco. Have been listening for you guys for about a month now. Met Corey up in Big Bear, and the podcasts are always keeping me interested. LOL, making me want to off road more.
Good. You should do that more because we don't.
Do it for us.
Do it. Do it for your country.
Yeah. And the last one is labeled "This Show's Great" by Lonely in Phoenix. I love this show. One of the 4 hosts is super knowledgeable on many topics, and they are all very funny except Cody. I don't like him.
I knew exactly where that was going. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate that.
Pretty much. How many phones does Tim have?
I think at this point he is just starting new iTunes accounts just to troll the shit out of us.
I wonder what happens if you Google "Lonely in Phoenix."
I'm not going to do that. Although, Danny, I got a question. I'm on the Spotify, the Trail Chasers page on Spotify, and I don't see where you can see reviews. So, Tim is in the chat room saying I should have made it Lonely in Hemet.
We wouldn't have read it.
Yeah, it would have been like,
never mind.
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure where to see reviews on Spotify. Does anybody know how to do that? No. Nope.
You should go to the review tab.
I don't see one. I'm not seeing one at all.
Tim has a work phone now?
Oh.
Wow.
Look at you. Well, so thank you.
Just so they can track him to see where he's at.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, dude, where's Tim?
We got to keep an eye on this guy. Give him a phone that's got GPS on it. So I will search on try to figure out how to get to the reviews on Spotify.
You know who I think would be a great guest at this point? Your dad. And we can talk about what's so good about that Frisbee.
Yeah.
And like some of the other things that, he likes to watch, whenever I come over, he's always, it's always sports related. That's for sure. Or like old Westerns. I think he's into old Westerns too.
Well, you think?
Yeah.
You think he's into old Westerns? You're not entirely sure?
Well, I wasn't sure until I saw the painting of John Wayne in the bedroom when we helped him move.
Yeah.
Then I was pretty sure.
So yeah, if you leave those reviews, I will try to find them on Spotify. I have not figured that out. And Tim says he's been asking for years to get Pop Assistant on here. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's something that's like it's even doable. We will try. But keep doing the reviews between now and June 21st, and we will enter them in the raffle for some swag and stuff. Anything else, guys? What, Jose? Anything more exciting about your trip that you want to share?
Nope.
You can see any cool trucks out there you wanted to buy?
No, but there are a lot of trucks out there for sure.
But they're all Brodozer trucks, right?
Yes and no. There's actually a lot of off-road modded trucks too. Yeah. Yep. A lot of Tacomas and stuff. Surprisingly, but no, it's good.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for being in the chat room. Thanks for Chris for joining us tonight. And
you're not gonna ask me if I have anything.
I hung out with you all weekend. I know what you did. You didn't do anything. You didn't do shit exciting, right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
My back hurts because I went to the range. I mean.
Oh, I did indoor skydiving on Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, I asked you about that, and you were like, "I'm not going to tell you about this or whatever." I don't know, because you had guests over, and then I become second class as far as I don't have to entertain.
You are never not second class.
Third class.
Yeah, we're not on his level, dude.
I did. So my brother-in-law,
the one in Ontario, that's iSky or
yeah,
whatever?
I fly. My brother-in-law for Christmas bought all of us tickets to go indoor skydiving, and it just ended up getting scheduled on Sunday. And you get two rounds in there. I have been skydiving before, in my 30s with Casey, and this is the same feel. It's pretty cool. It's but you get all suited up, and they put you in the tube with the air blowing up, and you fly, you skydive.
I wanted to skydive, and then I realized there was a weight limit. I was like, oh wow.
When we went skydiving in my 30s, I had to pay extra for my weight because they strap a guy to you, and it's harder. So the
Is it now?
Yes, it is. So
was he behind you?
He was, and he was an attractive man.
Well, I mean, you paid extra. So.
Yes, I paid extra. So as you go into this iFly, and you have to fill out this questionnaire and register and blah blah blah. Have you ever had shoulder surgery?
Yes.
Yes. If you realize if you have shoulder surgery and you do this, it could rip your arm off. Tammy looks at me. She's like, "What are you gonna do?" I'm going to click yes. So we get in there, and they're like, "Who's Cody?" And I'm like, "Me. Let's talk about your shoulder surgery." And I told him what happened, and he was like, "Okay, as long as it wasn't dislocated, that this is the thing." And so the first time I went in, man, I was so tense, like just trying to hold everything
you
together.
Mean more than usual?
Yeah, but I was a little bit concerned about the pressure, because what happens is you're laying on top of the fan, right?
Yeah,
and it's pushing it's pushing back like this. I was so worried about it literally pulling my shoulder to the point where it was gonna hurt, but it didn't. So the second time around was way more enjoyable and fun. So I was surprised that it
They need two fans for me.
No, dude.
The extra fan.
I'm telling you, from an X automation guy, the control panel that they use, it's all digital, and it's all VFDs running this giant fan. And just watching the whole thing was totally cool to geek out on. Like that, I was more excited about the control panel and the automation.
Were they ABB or
you don't see it's probably a 10-foot diameter tube, maybe even 12-foot diameter tube. So it seems like it's a single fan blade, probably 10 to 15 feet below the tube, and then they have turning vanes set up. So the fans so maybe it's two fans, because they had two turning vanes pushing up, and they had a dial up there that they were literally ramping the instructor that's in there with you the whole time. He would he would give them a signal, and they would ramp it up, and the fan speed would come up, and
get another knob out here. If I'm in there, it's like, get it. Is that all the knobs? Can you turn all the knobs?
Turn that any further?
It's like we've never
10.
We've never been to 10, sir.
12. We go to 12.
We've never tried.
They're smoking. It's just, I'm plugging up the tube.
We're going to the theoretical limit.
Oh man!
But it was fun. Great. It was a good time. It was it's not cheap, but it was fun. I don't know that I'll go back and pay that money. I didn't have to pay for it this time, so but it was a good time.
Good for you.
All right, everybody. Well, look. Other than Chris, the rest of tonight has been a complete catastrophe. So,
per usual,
and you're used to it. For those of you that joined us in the chat room, thank you so much. We appreciate it, and thanks to Chris for joining us. And we will talk to you guys next week.
Thanks, Carlos.